Welcome to what will be the final video for your Introduction to World Literature course. This is just going to be a very brief just overview of the final project and just a clarification of some of my expectations of you for that. At the moment, you're probably in the process of generating a proposal for this. So I just wanted to very briefly clarify what my expectations are for this, and especially what my my thoughts are on how this will be graded. So I've had a few queries about what's involved and so on. I had one person who had asked about what exactly you're being asked to do. So the question was, you know, I had said that it needs to be a project that's relevant to your professional and personal goals, and the student said, but you then go on to say that we should that we should provide a unit lesson plan, you know, a teaching focused piece of work. I just wanted to clarify the examples that I give of things that you could do for the project are just that. They're just examples. I would suggest that you decide on a project that's going to be beneficial for you. And certainly if your future does not lie in teaching, then you absolutely should not feel under any obligation to do a teaching-focused project. Think first of all about what your goals are, professionally or personally. For a lot of people, they'll have a fairly good idea of what kind of career they want to pursue. Think about that career and think about a project that can link up the sort of issues we've dealt with in this course, or especially the texts that we've dealt with in this course, to a sort of to a project that will help you to prepare for that career. For others, where you may be a little less certain about your career, you'll still have personal goals and ambitions that may have led you into doing this course in the first place, or that will that hopefully this course can help you to speak to in some way. So that the objective of the final project is not so much to satisfy my expectations in the same way as most major assignments have been. You know, I ask you to do an analytical essay. I have certain expectations of what that is. The final project is very different because it asks you to take responsibility for what you want to do and why you want to do it. So there isn't a correct project to pursue. It is a matter of identifying what kind of goals you have and how this project can help you take a step towards achieving those goals. And that's why I gave a whole bunch of suggestions. I think there's about 7 examples of things that you could do, but you should not feel under any obligation to stick with what's in those suggestions. Though they are indicative of things that people have done in the past on this course, but they're not by any means exhaustive. So think about what you want to do, and also keep in mind that if you're not sure of what sort of project might be suitable to your personal or professional goals, you can get in touch with me and we can talk about it, and we can pursue, well, what are your interests, what are your strengths, and thinking about how we can marry those strengths to a project that would be relevant to this course but will be helpful for you and your future. In terms of the grading for this, there isn't a rubric provided here, and there's a good reason for that. It's because your projects are by definition going to be so different from one another that it would be kind of impossible to impose a rubric that's going to be able to encompass things as disparate as like a podcast on the one hand and a bunch of lesson plans on the other, and a short series of poems on the other, right? So the way that this will be graded will to some extent be dependent on your chosen project, and we can talk about how that will be graded if you're concerned about that. But what I would say is that I am less concerned about grading on this project than I am with how beneficial it can be for your future, and how tailored this project can be to where you want to go next, right? So there are two sort of criteria, very broad criteria, that will be applied very closely. One is that it needs to deal with thematic issues or concepts or texts from our course. It needs to provide insight into those, into one or other of those things, right? The second, though, is that it needs to be tied in clear ways to your professional and personal goals. A lot of that rides on your proposal, what kind of proposal you give to me, and how you articulate the connections with your personal and professional goals. The project itself doesn't need to state this outright. It just needs to have a clear relationship with the goals that you've set out in your proposal. So if there's a real sense of purpose to what you're doing, then, and it's clearly linked to the thematic or textual stuff of this course, then you'll be on the right track. The third thing that, and I think it goes without saying, is that there needs to be honesty of effort. If there is honesty of effort and it's purposeful and it's connected thematically or textually to the rest of the course, then it is, and it's also connected to your own professional or personal goals, then you are on the right track, and your grade will reflect that. So that as long as you're doing those things, you can stop worrying about the grade almost. And I think you need to concentrate more heavily on making sure that this is something that is close to your heart and close to your goals, and helps you accomplish those things. I would like for the final project to be something that you can build upon in the future, or that can contribute to your future endeavors, right? So that it's not just something that's looking in on the course and is only beneficial within those sort of confines. If you're looking outward and you have a certain amount of ambition and clarity of purpose, then you'll do fine on the final project in terms of the grade. So get in touch with me with your project proposal, which is due tomorrow. But if you're really uncertain, then get in touch with me before doing the proposal, and we can talk through what might be possible or what might be advisable. Broadly speaking, though, I just want to reiterate that the objective of this thing should remain, to some extent, personal and professional, rather than attempting to satisfy some perceived requirement that I have for the project. There's a reason that the description leaves it very open. It's so that you can have that sort of freedom to explore possibilities, and the grade itself. The grade will take care of itself once you're doing that, once you're linking things to world literature broadly, once you're tying it to your personal or professional goals, and once there is committed honesty of effort in evidence there, your grade will be fine. Okay, I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions, then please do get in touch. Okay, thank you very much, and best of luck with the final project. And I've really enjoyed teaching you guys, and I've especially appreciated your feedback over the semester as I've tried to adjust and adapt to the sort of challenges of online teaching, and especially to make sure that this is something that is lively and engaging for you. I've really enjoyed the feedback that you guys have given, and the willingness to work on things that sometimes are maybe outside of the normal expectations of an English literature course. It's been awesome to see the kind of things that people have produced, especially when you did things like the audio-video response to Achebe and Saeed, that I could see as you went along the development of your ideas and your willingness to adapt to one another's suggestions through discussion forums and stuff like that. You could see the sort of evolution of people's ideas. And also in the more creative projects, like when you adapted an older text to our current context, it was possible in those sort of assignments to see how your ideas are developing and how you're engaging with these sort of themes in creative and new ways. It's been a really rewarding experience for me to be able to see that, and it's opened my eyes to the possibilities that are available in an online course like this. So I've really appreciated it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how these final projects go. Thank you very much, and I am available to talk at any stage between now and the end of the course, or ever after if you have any follow-up stuff. Okay, thanks so much. Talk soon.